Hey everybody, this is Malina Bercher, your Texas Hill Country luxury realtor, coming at you live today from beautiful Texas Hill Country. I've got a map of Canyon Lake behind me, one of my favorite places in the world, literally. I moved from Hawaii about 4 years ago to Texas Hill Country, and I absolutely love Canyon Lake. I've done other videos on Canyon Lake. You can check them out on my channel, but today we're going to be specifically talking about short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake. So grab that pen and paper and take some notes, and you'll have a lot of questions. Hopefully I can answer some. If you have any additional questions, feel free to put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get them answered. Or better yet, you can always reach out. I'm only a phone call away, 808-217-2700. I love talking about real estate, and especially real estate in Texas Hill Country, short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake. And without further ado, let's dive in. So I would like to get started by breaking a myth. If I had $1 for every time my phone rang and somebody on the other end said, my real estate agent says I can't do short-term rentals in Canyon Lake, Texas, it's not legal, I say, oh my gosh. There are 2 Canyon Lakes in the United States that I know of. One is in California and one is in Texas. And I'm gonna bring up a link on the screen here to an article from the Canyon Lake Insider that says, City of Canyon Lake increases fines for short-term rentals from $100 to $1,500. That would scare anyone into not doing short-term rentals in California. But guess what? Canyon Lake, Texas is open for business. It is one of the most active short-term rental markets in all of Texas Hill Country, and we're going to dive into the reasons why. So buckle up. So why Canyon Lake? I'm going to tell you a few of my reasons that I chose Canyon Lake and why it's so appealing for short-term rental investing. So one, it's central to Austin, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. So people can go for staycations very easily from these very highly populated metropolitan areas within a matter of just a few hour car drive. And there's Buc-ee's along the way, which is a whole nother discussion. But there's a year-round draw. So yes, while Canyon Lake is seasonal, there's also a year-round activities. There's great food, there's great shopping, there's concert venues, there's wineries, there's lots of road tripping to explore nature trails. And because of Texas's mainly mild climate, not quite as mild as Hawaii, but mild climate, we were in the lake last year and the year before, just about year round. There's very little time when the lake is too cold to explore. And even when it is cold, it's fun to have bonfires by the lake, roast marshmallows, and do lots of other great activities. So Canyon Lake is unincorporated. Now I'm talking about Canyon Lake, Texas, not Canyon Lake, California. So Canyon Lake, Texas is unincorporated. So there's very little red tape, which we love. Don't like that red tape. And there's no major hotel chains to compete with. People love short-term rentals. When they come to Canyon Lake, they want to experience the short-term rental. They want to experience what it's like to kind of be camping or glamping, and to whatever degree that is with your short-term rental. We have everything from tents and yurts and teepees all the way up to, luxury multi-million-dollar homes for rent for thousands of dollars a night, and everything in between. So another reason why short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake is excellent is because of the market. So, and we'll get into that later in the discussion, but it is a buyer's market right now in Canyon Lake, and I'll let you know why. It's also a short drive to Fredericksburg, New Braunfels, Boerne, Greene, some of them great places to visit in Texas Hill Country. Canyon Lake is pretty central to those areas. There's great restaurants, great shopping like we talked about, concert venues, whitewater amphitheater. There's distilleries and wineries and amazing shopping and antiquing, and lots of great concerts and music venues and nature to explore all throughout Texas Hill Country and Canyon Lake. So what makes an STR at Canyon Lake desirable? So let's dive into that. You may be looking for some of these features already in a home, but keep in mind many of these things can be done after you purchase. So in getting to understand the Canyon Lake short-term rental market, a lot of times I will go into Airbnb and Vrbo and just do a basic search for properties for rent. I will keep my time flexible, and what that allows the search engine to do is really go in and show me all available properties, and I can see how far out they're booked. How far do I have to wait for that property to get in for a week, let's say? And if I'm searching today, which is we're in July right now, and the next available date isn't until October for a week, I know that property's rented out pretty well. If the property is rented out, it has an availability for a week next week, it might be an anomaly. They might have had a last minute cancellation, but that's a good opportunity for me to dig in and see what is missing from that property that does have availability next week, and what is it that is attracting people to that property that is booked out until the fall or winter, and really dive in and dissect that property, how much it's going for, what features it may have. Does it have a pool? What's the proximity to the lake? What's the neighborhood like? What are the homes around it? It might have, or maybe it got some bad reviews, and dig into the reviews and find out what people are saying about that. But bottom line is, people come to the lake to be at the lake, to be on the lake, or to see the lake. So the closer you can get to the lake, preferably on it, or at least see the lake, is going to really boost your listing heads and tails above the others. I would say the second most important factor is, do you have a hot tub in the winter? And do you have a pool in the summer? If you're on the lake and you can see the lake and you have a pool and you have a hot tub, baby, you are number one on that list. And there's a very small pool of short-term rentals in Canyon Lake that have all those features. But how many of those features can we get you to? Some of them you can't do anything about. If you can't see the lake, you're probably never going to see the lake. Or if you can't get to the lake easily, you're probably never going to get to the lake easy. And that's why we need to focus on some of these other items, like the pool, which we can put in, a hot tub. And then we go down the list: privacy, number of bedrooms, lake view, which we talked about, value, what kind of value are you offering to your guests? And then amenities. Of course, people love amenities. What kind of experience are they going to have at your short-term rental? So are people at the lake love to play games? Do you have a golf cart? If you can throw all your lake stuff on a golf cart and get there in a few minutes, I mean, that's a great factor. If you rent jet skis, like we do at our short-term rental, that's a great add-on. Some of these other things that you can get into a lesser property and then boost your amenities. So there might be some things you can't change about the property, but you get a great deal on it. So what can we add to make it more desirable and ultimately get your rentability score up and your profitability up too? So let's talk about choosing a neighborhood at Canyon Lake and why it's so important. So Canyon Lake is over 8,240 acres. It is huge, right? And there are over 80 communities in Canyon Lake. It can take you to get from Canyon Lake Hills over here, which is a great neighborhood for short-term rental investing. Their bylaws do say that there's no short-term rental investing there or no short-term rentals there. However, there are over 100 short-term rentals there. We can talk about that. But let's say to get from Canyon Lake Hills all the way over here to like Tamarack Shores, it's going to take you about 40 minutes. That's how big the lake is. So it's important to determine what it is you like to do, what kind of a short-term rental you want to crowd you want to appeal to, and then that helps with determining where you want to be on the lake as well, because there's a lot to choose from. There's over 80 subdivisions, and we're only limited by deed restrictions here because Canyon Lake is unincorporated, so deed restrictions are king. So it's important when you're looking to not fall in love with a house that's in an area where they don't allow short-term rentals. So it's important to reach out to a real estate professional like myself, somebody who knows Canyon Lake market, who can help you steer through the gauntlet of all these different deed restrictions and neighborhoods in Canyon Lake. Don't be like those people who call me thinking there's no short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake because their Austin agent or their San Antonio agent or even their Houston agent told them so because they saw the article from California online. So let's determine a few neighborhoods that you really like prior to just going on Zillow and looking at everything. So an important thing to note is none of the gated communities in Canyon Lake allow short-term rental investing or short-term rentals. So if you're going to do short-term rentals, I know some of the gated neighborhoods are really appealing, but they do not allow it. So nix those off your list. Next, call me and let's talk. I'll send you a list of my communities in Canyon Lake that allow short-term rental. There are some that are very, very friendly and welcoming to short-term rentals, where they love them and welcome them into the neighborhood. There are some that put up with it. There's some where the deed restrictions don't allow it. However, it's not enforced. And so depending on what you want, we can talk about that, your needs. All right, so I did touch on why it's a great time to buy in Canyon Lake, meaning now. And so I pulled up on the screen this graphic that talks about the 2022 numbers versus the 2023 numbers versus the 2024 numbers. And what I did is I pulled the data from each one of those years for the 30 days prior to me making this video. So it's really apples to apples here. So if we look on days on market from 22 to 23 to 24, we went from 33 days to 95 days to 129 days in 2024. Really, days on market is showing that there's a lot of inventory on the market. Properties are selling, is taking longer to sell, which is great for you if you're looking to invest. Average sale price. Also, this is just such obvious data. It went down from $500,000 to 472 to 433 in 2024. There are some great properties to be had under 500,000. You can definitely get a lake view. You can get close proximity to the lake. You can get a lot of those hot buttons that we talked about. Now, of course, if you want to go up over $1 million, you're going to get an amazing, probably turnkey vacation rental that's on the water, but we'll get into some of those examples later in the video. Bear with me now. All right, and then we have original list price to sale price, meaning when the house went on the market, if it went on at 501 in 2022, we're looking at a 99% sale price. So it probably sold somewhere right around, help me with my math here, but about $495, right? We're looking at, in 2022, it sold at 99% of original list price on average. In 2023, we're looking at 93% of original list. And now in 2024, we're looking at 91% of original list. So what that means to you, you go on Zillow, you see a property, pull up that property. If you can go back to the original list price on Zillow, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and see what that property was originally listed for, and basically multiply that by 91%, and you can expect your first offer would be somewhere a little lower than that. And that's what's to be expected in this market, which is why I say it's a buyer's opportunity now in Canyon Lake, Texas. And then let's go to last, I love numbers. It tells such a story, and especially these numbers are so clear here. So in 2022, 59 homes were sold in the month of the 30 days prior to today. 2023 was 47, and this year is only 26. So there's a lot of reasons in the economy why things are moving a little slower in Canyon Lake as opposed to other areas of Texas Hill Country that have retained their value a lot better, which is why it's such a juicy, juicy time to buy a short-term rental in Canyon Lake meaning now. And that reason is because Canyon Lake is primarily a second home market, not only short-term investors, second home market. So how the economy retracted these last couple of years, people are really selling off some of those assets to get more liquid for operation costs because of inflation and other aspects. And this is not meant to be financial advice, but I do love to look at the numbers and how things ebb and flow. Let's take a look at some resources of how to do your investigating into short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake. I'm an obvious resource. You can pick up that phone and call me anytime, and please like and subscribe for more videos on short-term rental investing in Canyon Lake and all of Texas Hill Country for that matter. Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com. You can do a lot of research there and get a lot of facts and figures from there if you snoop around really well. There's a lot of great information online. There's free Facebook short-term rental investors groups local to Canyon Lake, and I highly recommend joining those local ones so you can really get a taste of the community and what the flavor's like. There's some basic groups on Canyon Lake that you can join, and again, just to get a sense of the community there. And then there's always Airbnb, like I was touching on, how you can go in and search different rentals in Canyon Lake. You can look at certain neighborhoods that you're interested in and see what your competition would be in those neighborhoods. See the successful Airbnbs and the ones that aren't that have high vacancy. So you want to take a look at those and see what's lacking. See if you can figure out what's lacking from those, or maybe it's a certain area that is less desirable. There is something called AirDNA. AirDNA for Canyon Lake isn't super spot on. It's better when you're looking at like a condo in a city where there's a lot of apples to apples. There's so many nuances here at Canyon Lake that it's really challenging for the AirDNA data to be effective. So it's so much more informative and accurate to go into Airbnb and Vrbo, real-time numbers. I do recommend, if you don't already, if this is your first short-term rental or one of your first, highly recommend researching cap rate and taking a look at that. If you're looking at short-term rental investing primarily as an investment and you need that cash flow, then I would definitely do your research about cap rate. Canyon Lake does have an amazing cap rate because you can get in low and you can charge great nightly. Your average daily rate is going to be really great for that cap rate. And this video is not comprehensive, on all things short-term rental, but there's a lot of great resources out there to take a look at cap rate. Also YouTube University, right? So you can learn anything on YouTube. Short-term rental investing is not the exception. There's so much information on short-term rental investing on YouTube. Highly recommend learning. So let's take a look at some real-time listings currently on the market here, July 2024. I did take a really broad slice of the market because I wanted you to see the variety. You don't have to have a ton of money to get into this market. You can start for as little as $299. There are, let's pull up this first listing here, which is actually listed by a friend of mine. All right, we're gonna pull up this first listing. I like this listing because it is an older home, but it's got character. It's got some really interesting stuff about it. It's 2 beds, 2 baths, which is an appealing, it is an appealing size. And it is in close proximity to the lake. There are boat ramps really close by. It does not have a lake view from what I recall. This property's been on the market for a while. It's come down a bit. And I'm not going to go over analyzing each one of these properties, but I just want to show you an example. And here's a contrast to that one we just saw. That's the same price. This one is also $300, but it's a new build. And there are some benefits to going with a new build. You're going to get that warranty and Again, this isn't meant to be a comprehensive video on short-term rental investing, but I want to give you some idea of this is a blank canvas. So you're starting with a perfectly constructed home with a great flat back grassy yard. From that point, you could install a pool, jacuzzi. You could make your private little fun game sanctuary back there. Put a game room up. There's a lot of options to really work on that amenities list that we talked about to make it really appealing. Let's see. This one is over on the north side of the lake, 326 Valley Star, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Let's see why I pulled this one up. Oh, this one's also new construction. This is a really popular floor plan here. Actually, it may not be new construction. Nope, it's not, but it looks great. This one's on the north side of the lake. The north side of the lake is up here, closer to Fredericksburg. New Braunfels is right over this way. You've got the Horseshoe, which is great for floating right over there. There's a lot of places to be in a lot of different areas of the lake. But let's skip over here to Glen. Okay, 2538 Glen Drive. I know why I picked this one because I love the neighborhood. It's very friendly for short-term rental investing. And this one is cute as a button, ain't it? She's 2-bedroom, 2 baths. Pretty small, 1,600 square foot, but very sweet. And it looks like it is an active Airbnb. You can kind of tell. So we'd be able to ask for rent rolls, past numbers. Yeah, it's definitely Airbnb. It's got some video games in there. And so we'd want to go do some digging and find out what the reviews are like on Airbnb and what they're getting. But there is a premium to buying an existing Airbnb because you're not just buying a property, you're buying a business. Let's pull this one up. Let's take a jump up now to 500. So we're 494, just under 500. Let's open this one and this one. Okay, so this one's a townhouse that does allow short-term rental investing, and it's on this side of the lake. It's actually right here. And the reason I put this one on the list is because it's lakefront. The lake has receded quite a bit. We've been in drought for a few years, but it'll come back like it always does. It's just that right now the price has gone down because they can't consider it. It's not considered lakefront really anymore. It's technically lakefront. This one is really, I believe it's an incredible value. You can see where it's located at this price point. I've been inside this one and it is beautiful. And you can meander right down there to the lake from it. So it would be very appealing that you can have a barbecue down there on the shoreline. Okay. Next, Connie, 1847 Connie Drive. This one is in Village West. I know Village West because the street names come up and they're all ladies' names. And Village West is over here, and they have this is one of those communities that's very, very friendly to short-term rental investing. So we've got Connie down here. Let's see, what was the deal with this one? Why did I like this one? Just because I love the neighborhood. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot, has a great yard, great deck. It could be a short-term rental. We're not sure. They don't always say, no, doesn't look like it. It's got a full walk-in closet. So it would take some converting to become a short-term rental. Let's see, Stagecoach. We got 1251 Stagecoach. Now we're heading up to the $600,000 price point. I just wanted to give you a nice slice of the market. This one is an existing Airbnb. So what I like about this is proof of concept. This one's got a 3rd deck, so you could see the lake, I'm sure, from that crow's nest up there. A lot of these, when they're existing short-term rental, they'll come turnkey. So you've got that proof of concept, especially if you're a new short-term rental investor. So you don't have to wonder, is it going to work? You can see the rent rolls. You're buying the furniture the way it is. You're looking at the reviews and seeing what people have thought about that property. So that's a huge plus for a newer investor. Now let's jump up to the $900,000 price point. Okay, this one, no HOA, which I love for short-term rental investing. Nobody to be breathing down your neck telling you anything. This one is lakefront. It's a ways from the lake, but it has a lot of flat usable space. So you could do something really cool back here. You could even do RV hookups, multiple units. I mean, you'd have to check with the county on that, but Comal County, is very helpful. You can give a call and find out what you can and can't do. So this one is an existing short-term rental. You can tell from the decor, I'm sure most likely be turnkey, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. That's very desirable on the water for $900,000. And this one's up here by this tack right up there. Let's see. So on the north side of the lake. Now let's head up to $1 million. 169 Simon Ridge. Which one is this? Okay, this one's also a current short-term rental. It is lakefront. This one is not as much usable lake frontage, but look at that view. This place is incredible with that view. It's got this super cool suspended bridge type thing going over to a fire pit. I mean, this is the full experience. 3 bedroom, 3 bath for $1 million. Do I think you would be able to cash flow this? Maybe not. But this would be one of those where you're getting it for your family, and the short-term rental numbers are really going to... Now, if you're buying for cash, yes. But with the interest rates the way they are right now, I don't think it would have that great of a cap rate, but it's a very appealing property. And these are some things we'd have to dive into if it were something you were serious about looking at, is what is your motivation for this? If your motivation is just to cash flow, that might not be the best property for you. But if it's that you're looking for a property for your family to enjoy, and it's something that the cash flow could offset the expense of it, then absolutely, that's an amazing property and very unique. Okay, this is another really interesting opportunity. 1.18 million. I told you we'd take a look at the entire market here. This one is it has different units to it. So it's 6-door townhome on 1.35 acres. So you could keep one of these for yourself, for your family to come enjoy the lake, and rent out the other 5. I believe I read it earlier, and there are 2 that are long-term rentals and the rest are short-term rentals. But you could have then the diversity to be able to rent longer term in maybe the slower months, and rent short-term during the that peak season, the busier months. Peak season is from about May to I'd say about September. May to September, we do pretty well. But if you average out the year in Canyon Lake, you're looking at about a 46% vacancy rate on average. Now, there are some listings that are rented most of the time. In fact, my listing is rented most of the time. We have Superhost status, and I can show you how to get some of those things when you work with me as your real estate professional. I can give you, I hold some of my cards close to my chest, but I do share them with my clients. So I have some great resources for handyman, for cleaners. I can show you how to self-manage your property. It's very helpful on your taxes, and I'm not a tax professional. However, that's what mine says. So you can self-manage if you can find a great cleaning crew, and there's always Amazon that does deliveries to the door. It's incredible. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Actually, this is one of my listings, and we're looking at 718 Park Shores. Look at that lake view. It is incredible from this gazebo on the property. Now, this one would not cash flow without doing something to this property, but this property could be an amazing venue, wedding venue, business retreat center. I mean, whatever. It has an existing lovely 3-bedroom, 3-bath home on it. And then you have the opportunity it's got a level 1.38 acres that's gated for you to do whatever you like. They've had RVs down there. You could do other units, but it's up here, Park Shores, on the north side of the lake. Super convenient location and gorgeous. So I want to show you another. Here's another at 1.35. And we're almost there. We're almost to the end of my little property tour here. This one is actually on the Guadalupe. So it's in New Braunfels, but it's not in New Braunfels proper. So because it's an existing Airbnb, you're buying the business, It's 1.3. Sorry, it wasn't 1.35 unless the price came down since I put it on the list, but 1.3. And this one is really sweet right there on the river. One thing you don't have to worry about the river is the lake level, right? Lake level rises and falls, but on the river, it's always flowing. So you're right there on the Guadalupe, super appealing. It says it's in New Braunfels, but it's actually right over here. So as the Guadalupe leaves Canyon Lake and heads to New Braunfels. So there's that one. And then last, but definitely not least, we've got a $1.7 million property, turnkey vacation rental on the lake. We have, for our last property, 1.7 million, turnkey vacation rental on the Guadalupe. This one is 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,300 square feet. It's got 2 units on it. So for 1.7 million, you're actually getting 2 units. And I don't want to see the inside of the house, right? Show me the river. That's what I want to see, I want to see the river. But this one, I'm sure you could find it on Airbnb and Vrbo. I'm sure it's listed currently, but and you'd probably get some great pictures there. Let's see. It's got a floor plan here. I want to see that lake again. Or sorry, the river. Been talking about Canyon Lake. So it looks fairly updated. Nothing spectacular in the house, but definitely outside the house, being on the Guadalupe is amazing and incredible, and probably rented a lot of the time. Maybe this one doesn't have a separate unit. I'd have to dive into that. But there's always, again, a premium for buying an existing short-term rental because you're not only buying a property, you're actually buying a business attached to it. And when you buy a property with the intention of turning it into a short-term rental, there will always be an expense and a learning curve, right? And trial and error. So when you buy an existing one, you're cutting that learning curve for yourself and cutting that expense. You're being able to, if you are financing it, you're able to finance in the business with the mortgage in the beginning rather than finance it through a business loan or credit cards, right? Which have a higher interest rate on the other side. As long as we can get it appraised for what it needs to get appraised at, and most of the time we can. With an existing short-term rental, there's proof of concept also, and we have to analyze the cash flow needs. So moving right along here, real estate investment journey timeline. Talk to me or a local agent. Let's identify what it is you're really looking for. Talk about some neighborhoods, price point, which is milestone 2. We want to get you talking with some lenders. It's always great to talk with multiple lenders. I have preferred lenders that I work with. Great lenders. They do my personal loans, the loans of my family members, and I am happy to recommend those resources to you. But I always recommend talking to at least 2. You need a side-by-side comparison because there can be a lot of hidden costs, a lot of hidden fees, and we want to be able to dig those out so you can make the best informed decision for yourself, for your family, for your business. Milestone 3, let's start shopping. So shopping online, I showed you some of the resources, and I'm sure at this point, you know, Zillow, Realtor.com, and Vrbo. Airbnb is a great resource. If you find an Airbnb that you absolutely love, we can always make an offer. You can always make an offer. I have a lot of pocket listings. I have short-term rental investors I've helped over the years who say, you know what, if it was the right price, I would sell. And there's a lot of other short-term rental owners out there who I'm sure would be motivated to sell for the right price. Milestone 4, looking in person and finding the one. So let's put in an offer, get you closed, and get your STR ready to launch and set up. In conclusion, we want to determine the purpose for your short-term rental investing. Is it for your family to use? Is it for cash flow? This will really help us be able to narrow down the price point and work on that cap rate. We need to determine the price point and then the size, location, lot size, proximity to the water, pool, What are your deal breakers? What are your must-haves? And then we're at the lake. We talked about how big Canyon Lake is. Do you want to be on the north side, south side, east side, west side? And then let's do this. It's never too early to start looking and to start talking with me, to research the process. I love what I do, so don't ever think you're bothering me. Like and subscribe below, and let's get this conversation started. Feel free to enter any questions below or call me. Malina Bercher, your Texas Hill Country luxury realtor, 808-217-2700. And until next time, it's a beautiful day on the lake.